most recent happenings in CrossFit, the competitive side of things, the CrossFit sport, if you will, the quarterfinals. And those of you that don't know, the quarterfinals required you to do them at an affiliate in good standing. And if you did so, then you did not have to record or submit your videos. You were just validated by the gym owner or the judges at that gym, and you were good to go. And so I've taken it to calling it the Trust Me Bro Olympics. Okay? And what it does is it takes the top of Greg Glassman's original hierarchy of athletic development, and it puts all the emphasis on the wrong portion of it. So for those of you that don't know, this is the hierarchy of athletic development. At the base of the pyramid, we have nutrition. Then it's metabolic conditioning, gymnastics in the middle, weightlifting, and then sport at the top. Now, sport, the competitive side of CrossFit, is absolutely a part of constantly varied functional movement at high intensity. There's a reason it's on the pyramid. It keeps things fun. It keeps things fresh. Being competitive, having ways to prove that your fitness is becoming better is a good thing, whether it's within, amongst each other or within yourself, right? There's always that fight. Hey, can I be better than what I've been before? Or, hey, here's me and my 3 homies. I just want to get after it. And that's way more motivational than just going to the gym, plugging in your headphones, doing curls in the squat rack, and not getting much out of it, guys. That's why the sport portion of it exists. But what you have to understand is it's the top of the pyramid. It's the smallest portion for a reason, okay? And the deal with it is built. All of these levels are built on this foundational principle: mechanics, consistency, and then intensity, in that order. And yes, even the base, nutrition, is the same way. Mechanics, I have to understand what good food is first. Consistency, now I have to consistently eat good foods. I have to make the choice to eat whole foods, things that you can grow, kill, gather, pick, whatever, right? Not processed stuff. I have to make the choice to do that consistently and then add intensity to it. Well, how do I know what my optimal intake is? Weigh and measure the food, right? Eat the right amounts of food for what you're trying to achieve. That is mechanics, consistency, intensity. It applies to everything on here. Metabolic conditioning, same way. Fran, I want to do Fran. Okay, well, first we have to demonstrate the ability to do a thruster with 95 pounds to the proper ranges of motion. Okay, now we have to demonstrate the ability to do a pull-up, a bodyweight pull-up. Now we have to be able to do it with consistency because we're going to have 45 of each. So I have to be able to do thrusters at 95 pounds and pull-ups consistently. That's when we start layering intensity. So Fran, the first time takes me 8 minutes. Okay, but now I've demonstrated, I have the mechanics and the consistency to do it. Here comes the intensity. Next time I do it, 6 minutes. Next time I do it, 4 minutes. Next time I do it, 2.5 minutes, right? So on and so forth. Guys, all of this entire pyramid is built on that ideology, okay? And so if we have mechanics as the priority and you let the top people in the sport violate those, then that trickles down to everything else you do, right? And after watching some of the videos that have come out from some of the best athletes in the sport, or the athletes in the sport of CrossFit, what I realized is I'm going to use the squat as an example. And the reason I'm going to use the squat as an example is people at my gym know I'm super passionate about the squat. We have a sign on the whiteboard in the back that says, if you don't squat, you a bitch. And it's Confucius or whatever on it. And on my grade, I tell them all the time, I joke, on my tombstone, I want it to say, depth of squat reveals depth of character. And a lot of these professional athletes or people at the top of the sport clearly have not had a coach sit them down and tell them this. They have not seen this before, okay? There are 5 foundational principles to doing a squat correctly to get through the proper range of motion, which is hip crease below the knee at the bottom of the squat, full extension of the knee, hips through at the top, standing all the way up, okay? And spine. So, number 1, you maintain a neutral spine throughout the entire rhythm. Chin level, eyes up, pressure in your core so that that spine remains stacked throughout the entire range of motion. You shift your weight into your heels for posterior chain engagement. The correct line of action will allow you to keep that posterior chain engagement. That means your hips have to move down and back before the knees break. So if you watch anybody squat at any level, and any of those submission videos, and you see the knees breaking forward before the hips go down and back, I guarantee you they're going to shallow squat. They're going to be at or above parallel, which is not good enough, because the next thing, the knees track out or over the toes to allow for probably the most important thing I'm going to tell you all day, a full range of motion, which is defined as the hip crease passing below the knee in the squat. Yep. Those principles align for that last point, to make sure that you can squat through a full range of motion. And why? Because this is constantly varied functional movement at high intensity. Functional movement means training your body's processes to the ranges of motion that you were born to be able to do, right? Can you not see the benefit of being able to squat all the way down and stand all the way up for your life, for the duration of your life, right? A lot of people lose independence when they lose functionality of their body, right? There's a lot of people that kick it to 90, guys, but 70 to 90, they need help because they just don't have functionality. And that's the whole point of this methodology, is to make sure you don't just make it to 90, you kick ass all the way there. And you only get it by training your body to maintain its range of motion properties. Right? That's what has to be done. That's why these movements are written the way they are. And so when you see the best of the best violating mechanics, consistency, intensity, specifically to go faster in workouts for this portion of the pyramid, the sport pyramid, okay, they are no longer representing the methodology the way it needs to be represented. Okay? And then we get, if you turn this sideways, it turns into a spear. Boom. And Greg always liked to tell people, the CrossFit Games athletes, or the best athletes in CrossFit, are the tip of the spear. The tip of the spear. Okay? They are the entry point that gets people hooked, gets them interested, right? But then it's the rest of the body of the spear, the head of the spear, that does the damage. The weightlifting, gymnastics, metabolic conditioning, and nutrition, that changes lives, guys. The sport itself has never changed a life. It has gotten people interested. So what we need from the best of the best in our community is for them to be actual representatives of this methodology, okay, of this hierarchy. And if you're out there moving like trash while you're going through your competitions, you are no longer a representative of what the methodology is all about. So we might get people come in the door, okay, but then you start pushing them to compete with ranges of motion that they haven't earned to go compete with yet. That's a problem. Okay? So if you take anything away from this, it's that mechanics, consistency, intensity is what we're looking for. That is what will allow you to not just make it to 90, kick ass all the way there. Okay? Watch the best of the sport. Sport's cool. Sport's fun, right? That competitive side of CrossFit is something that made it different from everything else. Giving your best in the gym daily versus just meandering around the gym, borrowing pieces of equipment when they become open. Doing your best daily, that is cool. No one is saying competition is not cool. The sports side of it is not cool. That's why it's on the pyramid. But you have to understand, it is not the thing that makes or breaks this methodology, and it is not the reason that CrossFit, the brand, is struggling. It's because they have done a poor job of maintaining the other four parts of this pyramid, just pushing the top, the tip of the spear. Okay? They're getting zero penetration. They're just pushing the tip. That's it. All right? So if you guys understand what I'm saying here, I can tell you right now, we push the mechanics of stuff way harder at DSM Performance. That's what it's all about. In fact, if you go to a CrossFit affiliate and you have not seen that, and the entire time you're there, you've not seen someone break that down for you in the entire time you're there, then, go somewhere else. Come here, okay? If you've never seen someone break down a movement for you, go somewhere else. And unfortunately, I fear it's become more and more prevalent in this space, but it is something that establishes and makes DSM performance different. It is the ability to explain how we are achieving functional ranges of motion and why it is the necessary thing to do if you want to have a better level, a higher level of fitness for the duration of your life. See you guys.